Trying so hard to survive. Trying so hard to survive. Trying so hard to survive. Yeah. Trying so. Back when I didn't have too much money. Yeah. Used to buy my side. No food on the table. 2 jobs, just enough. With all the insecurities and atrocities going on around us. Yeah, yeah. Stars in our minds and our visions to be clouded. Oh, where we belong. Trying so hard. Trying so hard. Trying so hard. Trying so hard.
Up, guys? It's your boy Troy Weeks Music, and you know what time it is. It's Sunday, second Sunday, which means it's time for Keeping It Funky with Troy Weeks Music. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening live, if you're on Facebook, if you're on Speaker, if you're on anywhere listening live, thank you guys for tuning in. We really appreciate it. I have right now here with me my co-host for today. It's going to be my girl Precious. I'm going to turn the phone around on Facebook Live so y'all can see. Hey, what's up, family? She out here, she in here. The awesome person. So, before I get into things, I just want to say I'm very thankful for the opportunity that I have to be here, under Scott's Custom Radio and being able to do my own thing. I definitely believe in the vision of friends and being able to support one another. And this woman, Miss Jade Zabik, is a big supporter of Troy Weeks. This is if you're looking on Facebook, I'm showing her the sticker. You can get one of these for free. I got you. Scott's Custom Radio. Miss Jade Zabik, thank you for the opportunity. So thank she's in the room and on live. Thank her. This girl's amazing. So without further ado, I want to talk a little bit about. I want to Precious to tell me a little bit about what she does, who she is, and all that before we get into it, so people know who you are. Because people may not know who Precious is. You know, she's a very good friend of mine. I met her through another friend of mine who does music, Miss Danielle Martin. Shout out to Danielle Martin if you're listening, if you're watching live on Facebook. Shout out to you, girl. I met her through Danielle, and she is a boss lady. When I say boss lady, I mean it like in real terms, not like out here on Instagram trying to stunt and be a boss lady. I mean like a real boss lady. So, Precious, tell the people who you are. Tell them a little bit about you, and then we'll keep it moving after that.
Yeah. First of all, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited. Thank you, Jade, for allowing me to be here as well. But yeah, as Troy said, my name is Precious Frazier. I'm the CEO and founder of Her Smart Start, where we're specialized in the formation, growth, and sustainability of women-owned and operated businesses. So we are out here educating women on how to really take their passions and turn it into a viable, sustainable business, not these fake me out businesses that you may see, you know.
Oh, start me up. I'm sorry.
This is keeping it funky, right?
This is keeping it funky. That's what you got to do.
We are keeping it funky. And so we're just out here creating a movement of women actually hitting 6 figures and beyond in their business and doing something that they love. And we really focus on social enterprises that are really putting out value into the world and really helping women bring their dreams to life. So yeah, and you can definitely follow me on Instagram at Precious_CEO.
Yes, I was definitely going to say that
Yes.
right away for the ladies. If you're listening right now and you're tuning in, please definitely go check her out right now on Instagram. Follow her. This is definitely important for just so you know, she is a woman of color with melanin, okay? Those of you on live, y'all can see that.
Shout out to the melanin infused ladies.
I'm just saying, shout out, you know what I'm saying? And that's important for our community and for our women
Absolutely.
to be able to have a platform out there.
Absolutely.
Know that they have help, they have resources. Hello,
Yes.
hello, live, hello, out there listening. You have resources out there, and it's important to utilize the resources that you have. And which leads me to the one thing I want to say before we start talking about some stuff, is that I made a post on Instagram, Facebook, social media about how more of the story, just utilize the platforms that you have. And it's important to utilize the platforms you have because If I didn't, I wouldn't be here. First of all, I've realized, and from January until now, which is October, from January to now, what did I say? I have a radio show. Ta-da, I'm here. 2 outside of the radio show. I host 3 YouTube shows, 2 podcasts, doing a movie. And then on top of that, I'm missing something that I put, but it doesn't matter. I just wanted to say, I said it to say this, that, God is the reason why I do it, because people always say, well, how do you do all this? Oh, minister, praise and worship leader. That was the last thing but not least, of course, praise and worship leader. And people were asking me, like, how do you do all this? Like, last night, literally had a wedding last night in New Jersey.
Yes.
Turned up, boom, boom, boom.
Yes.
Got home, 2:00 in the morning, 2:30. And then got up in the morning, went to church, did my rehearsal, and then did service. Like, and it's like, when you love what you do, it's not work. It's really, it's a passion. I have a passion for what I do, and I enjoy it. And there was a time a couple years ago, y'all, when I prayed, because I was not busy. I wasn't doing nothing. I was unhappy with what I was doing. I was out here in these streets just trying to make a way, trying to figure out, dang, what makes me happy? What should I be doing? Where do I fit in? Mm-hmm. And I prayed and said, God, please let me be busy, because I want to be busy. And definitely busy. He definitely answers prayers. And so with all that I do, God is the one who's the leader of it all. He's the reason why I'm able to do all this, y'all. I'm telling you, like, God is amazing. And if you just have faith and you trust and believe in yourself and you have belief in something, I'm not, you know what I'm saying? Like, I love God and I love Jesus, and I'm going to always plead the blood. But, everybody don't believe in the same things. And so whatever you believe in, I know everybody believes in the higher power of something. Whatever that is, have some focus, have some center, so that you don't get sidetracked and distracted by all these other things around us, y'all. It's so easy to be distracted with social media, with the news, or with people around us. It's like people come out their house angry. Like, you come out your house angry because, especially if you live in a big city, y'all. If you live in a big city like New York, y'all, I'm telling you. I hate riding public transportation. That's why I ride my bike to work. Listen, come on, I lost some pounds. Yeah. I ride my bike to work. Ain't that far, but I ride my bike because it's important, like, to not let people take that energy from you. You could walk out your house feeling good, feeling great, because what happens in your house is your sanctuary, your energy. Yeah. And then you walk outside into the public, and you're going to deal with negativity. As soon as you walk out the door, ain't nothing you can do about it. It's going to be there. Yeah. And so, how do you deal with that? Don't let it steal your sunshine, y'all. If the train's too crowded, ride a bus. If bus is too crowded, get an Uber pool. Do something. Figure it out.
Troy better bring us to church today.
Listen, today was a great day. Worship was an awesome service. And I'm just saying, like, you know me, y'all know how I get down. You know how I give it up. But I do want to talk about some things before time hits us. So I want to pass it over to Precious. I'm so inspired by just her intro. I'm just like, wow. Like, my friends, like, sometimes you got to understand and realize. One thing I realized is that Denzel Washington said 2 things. If you want to be successful in life, you have to either surround yourself with people who are already successful at what you want to be successful at, Amen. Or people who are like-minded, motivated, on the same path in life as you are. Agreed. Like, the people you are around are a big influence on your life. Absolutely. And if you're the one only positive crab in this barrel, it's going to be hard to get out if you're the only one.
You are the sum of the closest 5 people that you have around you.
Just made it a little deeper.
Yeah, I really, really learned that. I realized, like, even, through my entrepreneur journey, that if it weren't for the women that I put around me, I wouldn't be the person that I am, specifically because a lot of times, we're not perfect human beings in every aspect of our life, and we have to learn from other people. And if you don't have the right people around you, you're not going to become that whole person that you're striving to be. And, even this past year, God has put some amazing women in my life, and
shout out to God.
Yes.
Shout out to G-O-D.
Yeah. And it's such an interesting, a journey to be around women who can literally stretch you and force you to grow just because of, some random things that they say, or just because of what you see them doing. And to be able to have women around me specifically has been absolutely amazing. Like,
come on.
I couldn't even be. You ladies know who you are.
You ladies know who you are. Shout out to those ladies in her circle in her life, making change and inspiring her to continue to be great.
Absolutely, yes.
And so with that being said, is there anything that you want to talk about, anything that you have on your mind that you feel like you want to bring to the table?
Yeah, I think this is a very relevant topic to me because over the last year and a half, I really embarked on going about pursuing entrepreneurship in a completely different way. earlier this year, I was introduced to, I don't really want to speak on this topic because I'm not an expert, but it's just a part of why I even made this decision.
From my knowledge,
I was introduced to the idea of feminine and masculine divine, and understanding that there's a balance between how we go about things in life. And I was very masculine in how I was going about things. And what I mean is, I went to an Ivy League university. Everything that I've ever done, it's very strategic. It was very, I'll sleep when I die. I'm up at 5 a.m. I don't go to sleep until I'm damn near passing out. Everything was extremely robotic. And I realized, there was some imbalance happening to me spiritually, emotionally, and mentally. And I had to go on an entire self-healing and self-love journey. And I realized how important it is to speak about this, because a lot of, especially women, as they, just putting out there, ladies, but Black women are the fastest growing. Yes. Black women are the fastest growing group of entrepreneurs right now. And unfortunately, there's a lack of, although a lot of them come from, corporate backgrounds, they're very good in the skills that they've acquired. They're extremely knowledgeable about what they're doing behind their organizations. However, as Black women, we've had to put a lot of things on our shoulders. And because of that, it makes us operate in the masculine a lot. And, it can definitely be detrimental to us emotionally and spiritually. And a lot of times you end up being burnt out. You end up no longer enjoying your passions because you're going about it in a very robotic and very masculine way. And what I mean by masculine is obviously not the literal, the literal meaning of masculine. It just means that a lot of times we put ourselves last. We stop being kind to ourselves. Sometimes we lack love for ourselves. Over the last year and a half, I've definitely tapped into that feminine side of creativity, that feminine side of just thinking and just being kinder to myself, and, embarking on this journey in a completely different way. It's not so robotic and strategic. So I think it's important that a lot of even creatives and entrepreneurs, if you're out here doing pursuing something that you love, like artists, singers, and songwriters.
Shout out to the artists, singers, songwriters out there doing it.
Yes, because you guys have it out here pretty hard. But if you're building anything from scratch, if you're going against the grain, if you're not following what society tells you to do, it's not going to be an easy road. And what you're going to learn is that a lot of it is a mental, emotional, and spiritual game, so to speak. And if you are not right within, whatever that you want to do externally is going to be so much harder. And I realized that I was coming across a lot of different roadblocks, mentally. Obviously, we can get up and do whatever we want one day, but it only takes that one day that you wake up and you just don't feel like doing something, or something in life happens. Somebody passes away, you lose your job, or you have a breakup, or something in life can happen, and then next thing you know, mentally, you're just not interested in pursuing your passion anymore, whether it's a week, whether it's a month, whether it's a year, whether it's 2 years, but you still have this nagging feeling this is what I want to do. This is what I want to do. I just don't know how to do it. And a lot of times it just takes some inner work to happen in order for you to finally break through whatever is creating that roadblock. So yeah, I've been definitely on this very interesting self-healing and self-love journey over the last year and a half. So
and it's had some benefits.
Absolutely. I don't even know where to start. You're gonna have to ask me some questions because I don't even know where to start.
There's one thing I really want to talk about in particular.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about it.
And that's the fact of the matter is that we live in a day and age where how people look at you and how we perceive how people look at us is very important.
Yeah.
And so the fact that the matter,
that's where it all starts. Yes.
I'm just speaking. Yes. And so the fact of the matter is that you have been on this journey, and in that journey you have, you have lost some weight in this journey and losing weight.
Yeah.
There was some things that were tied into that. It wasn't just the actual like weight
The
itself.
vanity.
So can you talk about a little bit about that? Because I know I hit on something a little bit about it, but I'm literally just speaking.
Yeah. So let's talk about, before I even get to that, like, a lot of us are dealing with the pressures of society, of what we're supposed to look like, what we're supposed to feel. By 30, we're supposed to have this, and we're supposed to have that. And I think as millennials, we are kind of breaking a lot of different cycles that are happening not just in society on a larger aspect, but we're breaking cycles spiritually, emotionally, physically, within our families, relationship wise. And we have a lot of pressure on us because what we look at as success, or what millennials have defined as success, is not what the older generations perceive as such.
Success, right.
So it can cause a lot of stress. We can put a lot of pressure on ourselves, especially as women, because we are naturally nurturers and we want everyone around to be happy. And a lot of times it'll, especially, as a woman, in lack of better terms, aging. A man can be like 35, 36, 37, still living in his mother's basement, and he can say he's pursuing something. And although it's not viewed as, a man ready to get married, it's okay. But God forbid a woman at 35 is still living in her parents' basement talking about she wants to be a singer. Everyone will look at her mad crazy, So
That is the truth.
So we as women, we have a lot of stipulations that we have to overcome. And, so I know for me, upon graduating where I was, I graduated in Ivy League in 2015. And, I went into college for the second time at 24. The first time I ended up starting a business. So, I decided to not pursue my education, but then, the economy hit. And I decided to go back into school just because, I was young and I was very inexperienced as far as entrepreneurship went. So I didn't understand that it was just like a quick little roadblock and I could have overcame it. So I was like, you know what? Things are getting crazy. Let me get back into school.
See, what happened was sometimes you gotta fall on the rabbit hole on your own.
Exactly.
On your own.
To really learn.
To really understand. Because they can tell us literally, like, that's been my whole thing in life. Like, at the end of the day, things happen, and I want to be able to not fail because of someone else's, what somebody else thought, only because of myself. And that happened from What If. And I'll talk about this, and then we'll move on to some other things. But what if, don't be a what if person, and don't allow the what if situation, or the what if syndrome, I call it, to really change your life, because it will.
Yeah.
Sorry, I ate some food that's really good, and it doesn't smell good, though. Anyway. Don't, like, with the what if situation. So I had an opportunity to audition to sing background for like a big major artist.
Okay.
And I didn't do it because there was someone in my life who was sort of helping direct me and guide me at that time.
Yeah.
Said, you know what, don't do it. I'm going to work on some things for you. I got you. Don't worry about it. And I was like, all right, cool. And I'm, young and like, all right, cool. Let's do it. And then the opportunity, I didn't do the audition, and the opportunity that was presented never happened. And I was just like, like, what if I just would have went to the audition? Like, who knows what could have happened for me? Where could I be right now? And so for me, that's what changed everything. And I realized that I don't care if there's a hole there. I'm going to go in that hole. I'm going to fall. If you hear me saying help, just come pick me up.
Yeah.
But, I need to make sure that, what I'm doing for myself is the right thing to do. And if I fail, it's because I failed on my own, not because of something somebody else said to me.
Well, I mean, that's a really good example. You had this opportunity. God said, here's this opportunity. You want this. Right? Like, wow. You've been asking for this.
You going there?
Yeah, I'm going in. Right? Like, I know obviously up until that point, you're like, this is what I want. This is what I want. And God said, here. And what you allowed is somebody else to say no. Wow. You denied yourself that opportunity that God presented. And I think this is why this is such an important topic, because it's important to make sure that you have a solid grounding and relationship, not only with with God, but with yourself. And understanding what direction you want to take your life into, understanding what you want to present to the world. And if that was the opportunity that allowed you the platform to do so, then that was your opportunity to take that. And it's really important not to allow external, whether it's people, any type of situations to, derail you from what you're working towards. So I think that was a very good example of, you knocking out your blessings and not even realizing what you were doing. And
never once did I ever think about it that way or view it that way.
Yeah.
So you got me right now, like,
because you're the way that you're thinking is reactive. you know, it happened and you're like, oh, what if I would have, rather than in that moment, you should have said, you know what, this is an opportunity for me. Yeah, I've been asking for this opportunity.
Right about that. It
and
definitely was.
So don't react to things after it already happened. Make sure you understand what's showing up in your life is it's either supposed to be or it's not, and you're supposed to make that decision at that time. So don't ask for something you ain't ready for.
Don't ask for
make sure you're ready so that when the opportunities do arise, that you're ready to take that with no problem.
Amen, Precious. You for that. You didn't touch my soul. You didn't touch my life with that one. Thank you. You made me see some things I didn't see with that, and you're absolutely right. It's definitely important to follow your dreams and follow your goals, and if you're going to ask God for something, be able to ready for it. He gives it to you. It definitely is exactly how you said it. I didn't realize it. Yeah. So thank you. Shout out to you for that. But the good thing is that I'm now friends with Life Jennings' manager. Actually, that's who the person was.
Oh wow!
It was Life
Look
Jennings.
at that. Everything happens for a reason as well.
Friends with his manager. Shout out to T-Rex. So if you look at this later, or if you're listening live, shout out to you. So God works full circle.
Yeah.
So, without further ado, before we get things moving, we're gonna close this part out. But I got my boy Alex.
Hey,
my boy Alex. I'm gonna put you in the live too, all the way. He's from New York, but he lives in Florida now. He's doing his thing out there, and we'll talk a little bit. I'll just ask a question too about that right now, just before we move on to the next part. The next part's like gossip and like talking about, it's just more about like table talk. Like let's talk about something that made you mad. Let's talk about something that's been on your mind. But Alex is first of all, let me give you some history with me and Alex. Just a little bit. So Alex is before I started playing live music, I'm gonna see if I can put it that way, just so we can get both of us in there. Before I started playing live music, I started I played with tracks. He was the first person to help my dream come true with live music. So he plays guitar. Shout out to him. Amazing. He does other things too, but he plays guitar. And I had an opportunity. It was a circle of us rocking, going to like open jams and rocking out. So we were just in the same circle, became great, like brothers. And so I had my first acoustic show. It was at Manhattan Brew and Vine. Was that the actual show? Manhattan Brew and Vine was the first acoustic show I've ever had. Yeah, I bought this. I bought this and had the gold thing under, and I took it off. And I had to. This is the exact thing I wore. I bought this particular thing to wear for that show.
That is funny.
Look at God, right? And my friends here. And so I was like, man, I need to do live music. So I was like, look, bro. He's like, yo, don't worry, I got you. And we came up with a set and made it work. Yeah, and it was so dope. And so we went on to do BB King's. Yeah. A couple months later, my first performance of BB King's. Have you ever played there before then?
No, that was the first time.
Oh, so we got to play together, first time together.
That was nice.
Awesome,
that was a nice little show.
Awesome, and so we got to play BB King's together, and that was amazing because first of all, BB King's is closed at this point. If you don't know now, you know. Facebook Live, everybody out there.
I did not know that actually.
BB King's is closed.
Yes,
for good.
Gone.
Yeah.
What?
Maybe.
Well, I'm glad at least we got to play over there.
This is why I wanted to talk about it. So, BB King's, it's closed. So yeah, so we got to play there before it closed, and I think that's for people for artists who strive to be somebody great in New York City. BB King's is one of the places you want to play at. But it's closed now, so I wanted to, shout that out. That's the history. Like,
well, shout out to BB King and his place.
And his place. That sucks,
closed.
though.
That does suck, but at least, like I said, at least we got a chance to play there.
At least we did. We definitely got a chance to play there. That was a nice little
crowd, like a nice little stage there too.
It was.
We were hanging out in the back,
a little VIP-ish. It was a little like Beyonce in the back. Yeah, it was cool. Had some chicken wings.
That was like my first taste of like rock star.
Right. Yeah, that was the first time. I feel you. I felt my first time feeling like Beyonce too. Don't worry. It was cute. It was nice. And it was fun, and we got to play against. I got to host and sing. So I got to host the whole show, and I got to sing. And those artists that were on that night were from La Banda, which is a show on Univision. It's like American Idol, but Spanish. Yeah. And those artists were artists from that show. So it was pretty cool. I got to cross my breeds with different audiences and different people. But before we move on to the next segment, I got my boy Justin just walking in too, so we can maybe get started with that. But Alex, can you tell us about what you're doing out in Florida?
Oh, geez. How long do I have?
maybe 2-3 sentences.
Just
wind it up.
Just a couple of sentences.
Yeah, the main important thing.
I shouldn't say I. We are my team and I are making beautiful music in Florida.
Amen. Shout out to the team. What's their name again?
Well, the name of the band or the production company is Big Sound. Yeah, it's initially a production company, so it's called Big Sounds Better. Then it became a band. In order for us to promote the production company in the local scene, we started kind of just playing like open mics as a band, and then the band Big Sounds Better really took off and superseded anything that the production company was doing. We played at Sunfest. I mean, it's been a blessing.
Oh wow!
It's really been a blessing. It's awesome guys to work with. Shout out to the crew if they're listening.
Shout out to y'all.
Mike Greaves,
my brothers. I miss
Andy
y'all.
Box, Michael BX James the second, Jeremy Statham. Shout out to the whole team. Love you guys. Everybody's kind of like doing their own thing today, but. In a nutshell, what we've been doing is making music. So aside from the band portion, we have our own studio. We run sessions. We reproduce music. So much like one of the things that I did for you initially was like some of the songs that you had, kind of just instrumented them on the guitar live. So people come to us now with just basic song ideas. One of the things that we did for somebody was he just sent us a song that he wrote. I mean, it was literally him singing over keys. That was it, and we orchestrated, the whole thing. We put guitars on it, live drums, keys, bass, like the whole thing. So we reproduced tracks, and a lot of our work's been that. We also have a catalog of music that we've created, and artists come to us and they can choose from the catalog, or we can write songs catalog. For them. Yeah, I mean the catalog is. You remember the catalog a few years ago,
right?
The catalog is like over 200 songs strong right now, and they're like fully live instrumented songs. It's not just beats that we're making. Well, we have that too, but for the most part, we do live instrumentation. It's mostly what you specialize in, but you can do it in it. You can do we can do anything. We can really
Listen, the reason why I wanted you to say that is because I wanted you to promote Big Sounds Better. Shout out to Big Sounds Better. Shout out to you guys if you're on Facebook. We're on Facebook on everywhere we look. So shout out to you guys. And it started out with a dream. Like we were all like family and bros, like meeting together, hanging out and doing music. And these guys said, we're going to go move to Florida and we're going to build a studio and do our damn thing. And they're doing the damn thing.
And we did it. And we're doing it. And we're going to continue doing it. I mean, it's been a blessing meeting. And one of the reasons why I even met those guys was through you, through Gully. I mean, I met a lot of people, through you. And I remember the first time I went to Mike's studio when he was still in Brooklyn.
Right.
It was me, you, there's a couple of other people there.
I remember that night. Yep.
Yeah.
My sister was there.
And I remember you guys made me sing a song, and I found out later that it isn't.
So he doesn't sing,
I don't sing.
But he wrote a song and he wanted me to sing it. But I was like, you sound so good singing, and maybe we should just try. We tried. Okay,
we
cool.
tried. We failed.
Yeah, we did. But anyway,
but I have some good pictures from there.
Yes, shout out.
That's always important.
There's good postings from there. But.
Hello, it's always it's better than nothing.
Do it for the gram.
Do it for the gram.
Right, exactly.
So thank you so much for being here at the last one, just coming to show up.
It's good to
I
see
felt like it happened on purpose. And so thank you. And so now we're gonna move things over. I'm trying to see if Vasily, do you have a song or something you want to play in the meantime for like a minute? 2 minutes, anything like, and it's you have a couple of seconds too. So we're gonna transition over to Table Talk. I got my boy Justin Lopez here. Let me show my phone around so we can get Justin Lopez on the Facebook too. So we're getting ready to. I don't even know if people are saying anything. I forgot to turn the comments off. But we're getting ready to. I'm gonna cut this off now. So if you're on Facebook Live, see y'all later. If y'all want to tune in, go to the link in my bio and come listen to the rest of it. Yes, so if you guys are listening or if you guys are on that Facebook, you guys can call in 646-690-2976. I want somebody to call in. Matter of fact, I can text people now. None of that on my phone.
Call me now.
I got one. So Coco works with me on Free Yourself. We're under Savage Media Radio for the other podcasts that I do. And so she holds it down and I want her to call in. So I'm going to try to make it work. But as far as that goes, Jade, do we have anything we can do for like one? All right, so I'm ready to go. So we're gonna take a quick break, guys. We'll be right back.
Hold on tight to all your pleasures. I'll come steal your pain. There's no distance we can measure. I won't feel the same.
Currently spinning in space, too hard
heartbeats at a similar pace. Born in a place with a singular race that's being divided by a villainous hate. But isn't it great when two heartbeats feel limitless grace? Though separated in the physical, dancing together in the fire of an infinite blaze. Always connected, one feels pain and the other's affected. I don't quite know how the heart detects it, but once it does, it works hard to mend it. With tremendous love, two heartbeats to an endless drum. Hand in hand as the lights expanding, true love sings with an understanding. Hold on tight to all your pleasures, I'll come steal your pain. There's no distance we can measure, I won't feel the same. I'm waiting for your heart to beat right along with me in entangled spaces we can't see. No, we can't see the entangled space, but we move so free. Cross through the portal, two hearts touch, feeling so immortal. Alive in a space with the strongest forces, breaking the laws that they thought were normal. Locate love that is so non-local, loud as a yell, yet it's so non-vocal. On a globe that is losing hope, two hearts harmonizing, the sound is soulful. Always together, to a high plane that can stay forever. Deep in the heart there's a sacred treasure, rich from the pain of a great endeavor. With tremendous love, two heartbeats to an endless drum. Hand in hand as the lights expanding, true love sings with an understanding. Hold on tight to all your pleasures, I'll come steal your pain. There's no distance we can measure, I won't feel the same. I'm waiting for your heart to beat right along with me in entangled spaces we can't see. No, we can't see the entangled space, but we move so free. Free. We move so free. Free. We move so free. Always connected, one feels pain and the other's affected. I don't quite know how the heart detects it. It works hard to mend it. With tremendous love, beats to an endless drum. Hand in hand as the lights expanding, true love sings with an understanding. Hold on tight, all your pleasures, I'll come steal your pain. There's no distance we can measure, I won't feel the same. I'm waiting for your heart to beat right along with me in entangled spaces we can't see. No, we can't see the entangled space, but we move so free.
All right, guys. So if you were just listening, that was a big Sounds Better song. My boy Alex just told you guys, Big Sound Better Productions down in Florida. That was one of their songs. I got caught up in it. I almost got lost. I'm so sorry. That's what
Agreed.
happened.
That was
Um,
cool.
it up.
Entanglement. That's available, pretty much anywhere. SoundCloud, iTunes, anywhere you listen to music, Pandora, etc.
Yes.
Or BigSoundsBetter.com.
There you go.
Okay, cool. Yes. So this is Table Talk, guys. We have a couple more minutes, so let's get into it. So what I want to talk about is some ratchet shit, but
Did you say some ratchet shit?
just slightly. So I love reality TV. Everybody that knows me know I love reality
This is
TV.
really going down a ratchet
I
hole.
love it. No, excuse me. Don't do
If
that.
you name one Kardashian, I'm beyond.
No, I don't like.
this
No,
place.
no, no. No, it's more like it's more like the reality shows I would see myself on, like Love and Hip Hop, that kind of stuff. But anyway, so at the end of the day, at the end of the day, what I realized though is like, I love reality TV, but I realize things are going too far, and it's making me.
Or have gone.
There,
Going means it's going in a certain direction of too far, but I think we've already hit that.
maybe I think gone. Maybe
Yeah,
it's
it's
gone too far.
We done hit that already.
How do I answer? Let's press the button. Hold on, guys. Someone's calling.
Well,
Hello, can you hear us?
Hello.
Hey guys, this is Coco. Hey Coco.
Can you hear me okay? I'm on my cell phone.
No, we can hear you.
Coco.
Can you hear us talking?
Yes, I can.
All right, cool. So we bring you in real fast. So So Coco does Savage Media Radio. She runs the other podcast company that I'm working with, the other podcast team, Savage Media Radio. We do Wednesday night, and then I do also Wednesday night, Friday night, Sunday night. We do a lot of nights. But anyway,
Any night of the week.
Any night of the week. But she is really a person I talk to a lot about all kind of stuff. But what we're talking about right now, Coco, we just started Table Talk. We're talking about reality TV. You know I love reality TV. I talk about it every now and again. But I feel like it's Precious has corrected me and said it's gone too far. I feel like it was going too far, but Precious said it's gone too far. It really has. But the reason why I say that is this. Like I see our beautiful black women, and everybody, all these beautiful black women getting all these surgeries and all these things. They want to be famous and be reality stars, and they put themselves out there and they're looking freaking crazy out here being somebody's mama fighting. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's nothing wrong with reality TV and wanting to have it come up and do your thing and show people what you're doing. But the reality of what's coming of it is it's not putting out a good image to black women around the world. This is what they're seeing of us as black women of color, black people, that, you know, we got these money, we live in houses, and we fight, you know, about stupid shit. Like, I just don't understand how it's gotten to this point where I thought at first it was supposed to be to, you know, empower us. And now it's just like laughing. It's just like, this is just a joke. And so I'm throwing it out there to you guys. You know, like, I feel like it's going too far now. I'm just so talking tired of seeing lace wigs flying and eyelashes coming off.
Well, listen, I don't think we'll ever get tired of lace wigs flying. I'm just saying.
I love seeing it.
I have been trained and indoctrinated by culture since I was a kid that a wig flying is funny. So,
and that's problematic in itself.
That's just the way it is.
I love a good wig.
That is not just the way it is. That is problematic in itself.
I mean, if the nails don't come off and the earrings don't come off, that's going to be just sad for everybody.
I'm very uncomfortable with this conversation because I'm surrounded by 3 males.
Hey, Jade's here. No, you got
Listen.
You got 3 men with you right now.
The fact that we have this male saying, "Oh,"
Coco's on the phone.
Well, I mean, I know, but she's not here in person.
But
I'm saying, like, the fact that we have this male saying, you know, it's really funny when wigs and nails are flying off. Like, that's problematic. So,
it's funny when guys' wigs are flying off too, though.
Exactly.
And how often does that happen?
Funny.
But how often does that happen?
I mean, quite often.
It's basically at this point, black
yes.
women are being used as a caricature in society.
Why you say that?
I wouldn't just gear it just to the word black women. I just think the culture of color in general has been
that's what
since.
Black women is.
I mean, I'm just all. I mean,
that's what
but I'm just saying. I mean,
black women.
No, but I'm saying. But I'm just saying. Not only
you
just
can
women,
specialize
but
it all
men
you want. It's still
as
black
well.
women.
I'm just talking about the entire culture or the entire ethnicity of color has been demeaned since the beginning of media.
Yeah, absolutely, and I agree.
So, I mean, the only house known to man that was considered comfortable was the Cosby Show. So, and as you can see, they've already politicized him to look as a mess as he is today.
Absolutely.
Oh, Lord.
So, I mean, I know we're going left field, but that's just a reality as far as like reality TV show with, you know, women tossing their wigs is, you know, we could look at it from the standpoint of finances, which is where everybody should always bring their base to, is they're making their money and they could care less.
You know what? I'm actually going to talk from like the industry standpoint, though, because it seems as though it's sending a terrible message. Because I know for a fact that the industry views, if you are not ratchet, if you're not, you know, taking someone's wig off or scratching someone in the face or throwing a drink at somebody, you're not worthy of views. You're not worthy of media attention. There's networks that I know have cut people because they've refused to fight as much as they wanted them to do. You know, they refused to have that persona of them being this ratchet, loud, you know, always argumentative, just ignorant. They refused to be that way, and they wanted to be more tame and just have their real life be recorded on reality TV, and they've been fined for it. So a lot of it, I believe, is the industry. It's not necessarily the I'm not even going to say actors, but the stars of these shows or anything. I'm sure that they have a more tamer side to them, or half of the time it's not even their personality to be as out there and as disrespectful and have this persona where that's just all they are and that's all the culture is. It's really the industry, and it's really sad because that the industry is run by a majority, and I'm going to say a majority, males, Jewish males.
Jewish males?
That's the persona that they want their actors and actresses to have because it pays.
So we like puppets, we like monkeys.
Yeah,
that's what it looked like to me.
Absolutely, and I mean, you can see what's happening. And listen, a lot of I'm gonna get a lot of backlash for this, but you see what's happening with people like Cardi B. you know. And I mean, listen, I love me some Cardi B, but not on. I know.
Keep it going.
They're gonna come for me. But when you look at the shenanigans that she came from, like from Instagram to Love and Hip Hop, and where you see that kind of woman is put on a pedestal over the woman who is like more conscientious about society and is more intelligent, is doing her own thing. What she just says is absolutely true, because, you know, we have these women who are less, I don't want to say refined, but, you know, you have the Cardi B's. I mean, she was fighting and doing all types of stuff on Love and Hip Hop. And, you know, it's viewed differently when a black woman is like that versus when another type of woman.
Another culture is like that. Exactly.
Oh, wow.
It will be frowned upon. I mean, it's still frowned upon in
absolutely,
because we wouldn't be having this discussion if us as black people and us as a society of minorities aren't feeling some kind of way about it. So it's still frowned upon, but in terms of media, it would be frowned upon if it was, you know, another culture acting up and acting erratic and being feisty. It would be detrimental to the station. They'd be like, okay, we fired so-and-so because they were making us look bad.
Exactly.
But for
a black woman, it's celebrated.
It's a positive thing, and it's a never-ending cycle, and it's really sad. But it's definitely the network. I think if we should be boycotting anything, we should be boycotting the fact that the network doesn't hire our people to represent us in an appropriate way. A way that's more of a role models, you know, try to coach their cast to be, you know, respectable and show, you know, their businesses off. Even like housewives, they have businesses, but we barely know anything about their businesses. We only know about who's fighting with who's sleeping with who's rumors, and who's getting divorced. We don't really hear about their businesses, the positive things they're doing for the community. In Atlanta, especially the Housewives of Atlanta, they do a lot for their community. They do a lot for the black, the black female business owners, and we don't hear about that. We only hear about the drama. So, if anything, we should be boycotting the networks that give us this crap and it's feeding us this crap. That's pretty much my take on that.
Or create our own networks, team up with Precious and be a CEO, and make your own things. Because I feel like it's important out here that if you don't like what's being said or done, we live in a day and age where you can make change. And the reason why I brought that reality thing up is because outside of Love and Hip Hop, I do watch reality TV on YouTube. And I noticed that a lot of reality YouTube shows are now, it's all spilled over. Like all the gay reality shows, it's all about fighting and being the baddest bitch. And then now I've seen the reality show that's white people fighting in the street getting crazy. And some of them is pregnant. I'm like, wow, like it's just everywhere. Like everybody want to be on TV. And you gonna say something? No, I'm just saying, like, I want to be on TV. When I saw the white people fighting on like that, getting crazy, like I saw the black people doing, I was like, nah, we're gonna cross the line. Now this is too much.
See, that's a problem. Now I
understand why you go because it's like if they done got to it, they done went into the bag and trying to come up to that. Like, dang, we might as well get them out. But they like theirs is worse than ours because they don't care. Like when I say like they had no respect for nobody themselves or nobody, they had no respect for nobody. Like to me, now I was sitting back looking at eating popcorn watching that, like, cause that was crazy. Like like you pregnant and you fighting, dragging people out cars and you got a baby inside. I'm just used to seeing that in the hood. I'm just saying I'm used to seeing that in the hood, not from the.
I mean, I was just gonna say, you know, this whole idea of, you know, sex violence, that's what sells these TV shows, you know, and unfortunately, the consumers, which are, you know, obviously the people that watch these shows, right, that's what they want to see. But that's what they want to see because they're used to seeing these things. And instead of retraining our culture, instead of, you know, showing the good side of humanity, you know, unfortunately, it's just more entertaining to watch the, you know, the bad side because people, you know, like talk about the housewives.
You know what?
Whatever.
I tell Troy this all the time. People love to see people who are more miserable than them. If they see somebody who's getting cheated on all the time, who's fighting in the street, who's got beef with this, that, and the third, it makes us feel better about ourselves. And that's sad because we don't like to see and we don't like to embrace positivity and power and people making change. We don't like that. And it's, not saying this for everybody, but as a society, we've grown to enjoy seeing other people's misery. And I think that's why we're fed this every day on YouTube. And people know, oh, I'm going to upload this to YouTube. It's going to get 1 million views because this is two girls fighting in the street over some guy. They're going to love it. They're going to eat it up. Yeah. It's not, let me record this random act of kindness and put it up on YouTube. Like, it's really sad that we've been conditioned to enjoy other people's misery and drama. And that's kind of where everybody gets their content from. And I don't know if, you know, one person can make a change, but I feel like if, like Troy said, if people start changing the industry and creating things that have a basis upon positivity and respect and business and growing as a society, I think everything would be changed for the better, for sure.
And I agree with you. I think to add to that, I think people are at the point where they are being very conscious about what they consume. And I think that we are now realizing, like, the problem isn't the violence. The problem isn't the fighting. The problem is that there's a lack of representation. So to your point, like, yeah, everybody loves that. But I think when we are people of color and that's all that we see of ourselves, there isn't a balance. That's where it becomes a problem.
And it becomes, after a while, it becomes a case of life imitating art. Because then you think that's... Yeah, I'll give you the best example of that. Look at any mobster show, like, you know, getting away from the
Sopranos.
So let's Sopranos. Just for a second, just to get away from the race conversation.
I mean, that still goes into another racial conversation. We're talking about Italians being perceived
yes, it does. Well, I mean, Italians,
and Russians,
or Middle Eastern people, or the Asians, or anybody who's not white America. Let's say. I grew up in Brooklyn and Staten Island, right? And everybody in Brooklyn and Staten Island talks like this. If you're Italian, you gotta talk like this.
Yeah.
But you see people of different cultures, having the same kind of accent. They call it a Brooklyn accent or whatever. But it all came from these people who from the media who puts these shows on of, like, Italians, for example, let's say that being mobsters, and then so now, like, every Italian guy that I know that I've come across in Staten Island, let's say, everybody talks like this, and everybody's trying to
represent. That's what
they're
being put in your face.
When it really started as a movie, as like a fictional thing, and then it kind of perpetuated itself because people enjoyed watching that, and now it's like life imitates art, and then art imitates life, and you just
that just goes to the point
you break from reality.
Yeah, but that just goes to the point that there's a lack of representation, because if you had a crew, if you had, I guess there's writers for shows, if you had a diverse writing crew, they would be able to interject and say, listen, I do understand where you guys are coming from as far as, like, Italians speaking like this, but there are other types of Italians that don't speak like that, so let's make sure that we're representing Italians in the correct way. The same thing with any other culture.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah, man, this was, definitely...
Okay.
And reality,
right.
just
Black women stand up. I need to stand up.
Reality TV should really just be, or reality anything, should be really called break from reality.
Cardi B, we love you.
Because it's not, it's
far
like you
from
said, it's far from the actual reality, and it's, like you said, misrepresented, and, maybe it's not being done in a malicious way from the network standpoint.
Lies.
Well, maybe it is, maybe it's not. Well, we can. That's a whole other conversation.
Lies.
That is a whole other conversation. But the point is, these things are happening, and it's not really helping anybody.
Agreed.
Yeah. So how do we make change? How do we change that? And that's the whole point of
well,
I
think millennials are doing it.
Yes, for the millennials. Let's jump.
I think millennials have definitely stepped up as far as saying, you know what we don't see, we're gonna create. The problem is, like, there's a lot of, and this is where I come in.
You're an OG millennial.
I'm an OG millennial, but I'm also a business educator, and I think a lot of times, like, creatives and entrepreneurs aren't educated properly as far as, like, business goes, because that's where everything takes place, is behind closed doors. And, people are out here doing things for the gram and not understanding, like, in order to get whatever content you want out, in order to get whatever projects you want to get out, you got to understand the business behind it. And once you understand that, then things can skyrocket.
Come on, that sounds like money in my ear.
As a creative, I disagree with you. And I'm just saying. with a bachelor's in accounting. So,
but you also
but I see it. I totally see it. I think like for the change to begin, it always for me originates at the home. And one of the biggest issues with the millennials is that their generation or their age is the broken home, and with a broken home comes with the the persona of a negative attitude, of I'm entitled to stuff, I'm entitled to these things. And I know that millennials get a bad rap for being entitled. Well, but the reality is, there's a lot of millennials who don't look at history and what people have done for them to be able to be at a place where they could be great. Maybe you did come up in a broken home, but there are many people of history who can show you that a broken home can make you someone great. And I think the millennials today need to understand that they can be something great and they can come with purpose. And to your point that I agree with is they don't see that it comes with work. It comes with hard work. A lot of people are just jumping on YouTube just to become famous, but they don't realize that you have to learn how to use the equipment. You have to,
exactly.
And they won't. They're like, but let me check on this guy's YouTube. And what they'll do is they'll leech onto someone else who is working hard and succeeding. And now we're getting all these YouTube stars who have not really learned how to put in the work.
They have hundreds of thousands of followers and no money to show for it. Exactly. That's what I was saying about understanding the business behind creating anything. Because you can have the creative abilities all you want. You can be the best singer, you can be the best anything, but if you don't understand how to make that thing into a money making machine, then what's the point?
Agreed.
Yeah, that's why you gotta not just be out here just doing what you're seeing and actually living and following and living, because it's easy to go on YouTube and watch a video and imitate. But also know that that's their talent, and that if you don't have the talent, you can also learn, and if you practice, maybe you could be great at it. But it's
which
also
brings me to my
all about
question.
the hustle. You gotta know how to get what you want, and make sure to make your money long. It's real easy to make a couple $1,000 or $1 million on YouTube. People do it all the time.
Absolutely.
But it's about making your money long, figuring out how to make it continue to come, how to make it, invest or get mentorship and figure out how to keep your business striving. Because whatever quick thing that you did on YouTube is not always going to be the trend.
Nope.
So you're going to need to figure out how to grow with the trend, grow with the times, and keep your brand current. And that's what a lot of people, millennials or anyone who's brand new to the business lacks knowledge of, is how to keep your brand current. And I feel like everything starts with that, being able to stay ahead of the curve, ahead of the game, and making sure to make your money last. And we need people to just step up, like you guys were saying, we need role models. We need people to set the bar so that people who may not have had someone growing up or may not have had someone to look up to and say, how do I do this, can go to that person and be like, okay, I need to know where to start. So we need people to create that starting point so people can not be so lost. I feel like this generation is lost because, like you guys said, a lack of people in the household, lack of good role models, or having the TV be your role models. So I think it just starts with having someone just kind of start the momentum of being a mentor and making sure people know how to keep their brand current. That's the most important thing.
Awesome.
Like you said, business. Learning
your
the
brand
business.
current. Come on now, you just ain't have a brand. Just having a brand ain't good enough. Because
Exactly.
And that's a whole nother conversation.
It's interesting you bring up the word role model, which is a great word, and unfortunately, going back to the reality TV conversation that we were having a second ago, there's just no good role models, even in music, in television, any kind of entertainment, and kids often, as long as I could remember, look up to the people that they see on TV.
Exactly.
And unfortunately, like if you listen to the radio or watch TV, there's no good programming. I grew up in in the 80s and in the 90s. We still had some decent role models. But again, it just doesn't seem to exist anymore. And
I think that's why there's a huge movement, especially with Black women, who are very into self-help, self-love, self-healing, because we don't have those external role models. So now we have to look inward and really figure out how we want to show up in the world, who we are right now, how we want to show up in the world, and how to fill that gap. And I think a lot of Black women, especially, I just say this because I'm just like around Black women all the time, but Black women are really, really intentional about how they're showing up in the world. And yeah, we have all these like reality stars, you know, wilding out on TV and such, but I really think that women are really starting to take the forefront as far as like emotional intelligence, healing, and making sure that they're not walking around here broken and just doing stuff because society has put it in front of us.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm gonna leave. We're gonna leave it with that because the time is out.
which is great.
And I'm gonna first before we leave because I want to make sure everyone says their Instagram and their information so people know who listening. So first of all, I'm gonna go backwards. So I'm gonna start with Justin. Justin, tell them where to find you.
I don't even know where to find myself.
You change things around.
That's that millennial shit right there.
Yeah, that's millennial. You know what's funny? I try my best to get off of social media so I can communicate with people, and that's really what I try my
social
best
media
at.
makes you socialist.
But I am Sir Justin Lopez.
Sir Justin Lopez.
NYC. on Instagram. So.
Sir Justin Lopez, NYC.
Yes.
Thank you, Justin. Thank you for being here today. Alex, tell them where to find you of Big Better Sound in Florida. Big Sounds Better, sorry.
People, you won't believe how many people actually make that mistake.
I do things like that all the time. So
that's cool. Man.
Big Sounds Better.
Big Sounds, yeah. So you could follow us at Big Sounds Better anywhere. You know, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
Awesome.
Yes, and we have a CD too. Jade showed it on Facebook. If you're looking at our Facebook,
yeah.
Live,
So that's the
check
EP
it out.
CD. Yeah, it's available. Pretty much anywhere you get music. Or you can go to bigsoundsbetter.com. BIGSOUNDS
You're better than me.
.com.
Don't forget the .com.
All right. On the phone, we have Coco Blue. Coco, tell them where to find you.
Okay, so you know Facebook is my life. So if you want to be in my life, you can find me on Facebook at Courtney Blue, Courtney without the U, blue like the color. And I'm also at It's Coco Blue on any other social platform, ITSCOCOBLUE, and that's where you can find me. Come join me. I need new friends.
Yes, tune into Savage Media Radio each and every week. We have like 3 or 4 shows going on. Please,
yes.
You can find Courtney always on any of my shows. She's always usually with me on Savage Media Radio shows. But we have a Wednesday night show on hiatus right now because we're sort of having some guest people come in and do a podcast with us. We have a Wednesday night podcast called Voices. The Voices. We have 5 people. That's smaller, but long story short, you can find Coco on under Savage Media Radio as well. She's the one who runs our podcast system over there. So that's Coco, and helping me down, holding it down today. Of course, my right hand. I can't say man. My right hand woman, lady, is Miss Precious. Precious, tell them where to find you.
Yeah, so you guys can find me at on Instagram, Precious, PRECIOUS _CEO. You can also hit me up somewhere on Her Smart Start on every platform, especially if you're looking to start a business and, you know, really receiving some resources and education about how to do that correctly.
That was where I was getting to. Okay. Come on, you did everything I needed to do.
You want a reality TV show?
We're working on it. Don't worry, it's in the works.
It's coming.
Of course, ladies and gentlemen, this was Keeping It Funky with Troy Weeks Music. You guys know where to find me at Troy Weeks Music, WEEKES is how you spell Weeks. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll be here every second Sunday. We're here from 6 to 7 p.m. and the call number is 646-690-2976, courtesy of courtesy of Sky's Custom Radio. Thank you so much for giving us the opportunity and the platform. As you know, we got Coco on the phone, so that's how we do. We can call you in if you ain't physically here to make things happen. So thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you, team, for being here today. Until next week, and until the next second Sunday. Until next time, keep it funky, y'all. Until next time, keep it funky.
Keep it funky.
Bye, y'all.